Hey, hey, hey. How you doing today? It is a wonderful day. It's actually November 11th. It's Remembrance Day. Remember all our fallen heroes and our vets and all that who literally kept this country safe for us. So much respect to those fellas. And, you know, they lived a life that we hopefully won't have to. Back to the bush. Got to get the place warmed up. It's ridiculously warm outside right now. It's 18 degrees outside, but it's only 11 in here. And again, that's what you get with a nice warm insulated camp. When it gets cold outside, it stays warm in here, but when it gets warm outside, it takes this place quite a while to warm up on its own because I don't get really any solar heating in my windows at all, the way I basically laid this place out. So considering down the road, I could put a couple dormers up there in the roof. I love the look of them. I don't really want to cut into my roof to do it, but a couple dormers would be quite effective, you know, possibly up there, maybe down the road. But it's nice to have you guys back. I hope you all enjoyed my other videos. They're the latest two I just put up, especially the rocket stove cook-off. Those are pretty cool little units, those rocket stoves, I gotta say. And be using them again in the future, I'm sure, you know. And even, like I say, to go out and the little one is so portable. That's the nice thing about it. Back here, just me and the kitties. Fred and Crazy Daisy. The squirrel, the minute I was out of the truck, it was kind of funny unloading my stuff, and there's a squirrel sitting on the feeder over there, the little one that looks like the camp, and there's another squirrel sitting out here already just waiting where I fill the bird feeders. So I think they know I'm back. I think they're happy I'm back because I always give those guys a little bit of food. Not that I want to give them too much and encourage them around here. They are still rodents, but I do have a heart, so that'll be my next project, I guess. Go get my feeders topped up and we'll go on from there. So that's my next project. So this weekend, guys, we have the remnants coming of Tropical Storm Nicole coming overnight tonight. Let's hope Nicole isn't too nasty because there's supposed to be some fairly strong winds and really pile of rain. Really strong winds and a pile of rain. They're saying 50 to 70 millimeters of rain, which is, what's 50 millimeters? 2 inches. 2 to 3 inches of rain. That's a lot of friggin' rain. Overnight, too, with some heavy winds, high winds with it. But we're going to get more rain, I think, than the wind. Unlike the other storms. We just went through Fiona here. If you guys watched a video I had back, I guess it was about a month ago. And that was just heavy rain. Didn't get much wind here. But we're going to see what happens tonight. It's supposed to be pretty windy as the night goes on overnight and into tomorrow, I believe, also. So I'll definitely show you guys, give you some updates and all that of what's going on outside here. I don't have a lot of big plans for this weekend of getting anything done yet. Again, weather pending, right? If it's too wet, I won't be able to do anything. If it's not too wet, get a few little things done around here possibly. But again, once again, it's wonderful to have you guys back. I should sit that right over him and I'd have a squirrel in a cage. Wonder if I can get him in there. I'd like to throw him right in the cage, see if he'd stay. They are quite the critter, aren't they? They're so tame. I don't want to make friends out of these guys. Even though I know they want to be buddies, but they have a hidden agenda. They just want my food. So this will keep the birds going anyway, keep them happy for the next couple days. I do love my bird feeders. I think it's just a humane thing to do. More so in the winter, I guess. It's not that critical right now. But once it starts getting colder out in the winter and then the snow gets down, that's when the poor birds need food and water both. So it's hard for them sometimes. And little squirrel buddy there, he's just, you know, helping himself. I'll go put some over in the other feeder over there and tiny little bit for this one. I hate doing this, but they're rodents, you know. But again, when you're a humane person and you love animals, I guess in general, what do you do? And this is kind of really funny because there's one sitting here waiting on the fence. Look at this guy. Oh, he's already waiting for me. It's like, yahoo, yahoo, come on, dinner's here. Look at this. Like, these are ridiculous. Like, they're my pets, and they know when I'm coming back. Hey, here he goes. Pretty silly. It's even sillier that I'm feeding squirrels, because I honestly don't like them that much. But I'm feeding them anyway. Give him his little roof back on here so he can sit in the rain tomorrow and they can eat the food. Pretty silly, eh? Gonna take him a while to get here, I bet. Not even a minute. I think he's happy that I'm back, guys. Here, buddy, I need my camera back. Enjoy your dinner. This is silly. I'm not 3 feet from you guys right now. I'm just standing right behind the camera. He doesn't even want to move. They are pretty tame. All right, enough of you. This is absolutely unbelievable. Probably unprecedented weather. We got to be setting records now. November 11th. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's still 15 degrees out here. It was 19 coming over here in my truck a little bit earlier today. It's going to change, and when it does, it's going to be like, everybody will be, oh my God, it's so cold in the snow and everything else. But you know what? We had such a wonderful summer this year. Wonderful fall this year. We had just pretty much the right amount of rain, because that's why literally I mowed my lawn at my house last week. Did a lot of it to mulch the leaves, but I actually mowed the lawn. I had to cut the grass. It was actually still growing, and I think it's still growing a little bit. Did I come out and just take a quick look around out here as I normally do when I'm on my little walks. Tin Man's not looking forward to winter over here. No, he says it's pretty cold when you're metal. The corn stalks tilled in quite well in the garden. I'm impressed how well, like, those things are gone. And they were, if anybody saw the video last week, those were like a 4 or 5 foot, those were like a 4 or 5 foot tall corn stalk. So, but look how dry the ground looks. Isn't that crazy for just tilling that? It's super, super. No, I guess there's some humidity down in there, but it's funny too, there's a few potatoes popping up out of there last weekend. It's going to be a fairly quiet weekend, I think. Again, it's going to pour rain tonight. Big rain coming later on. Winds, I don't think they're going to be that bad, but it's a post-tropical storm warning is what they're actually calling it this time. All my poor raspberries here in the spring. I'm going to have to wrap these guys tight, and hopefully the porcupines just annihilated them this year. And like, how do you keep porcupines away from stuff like that without either, getting rid of the porcupines or something? Because they strip pretty well every leaf off of these things. They love them. When I was over here last week, I saw a little small one just before I come out to till the garden. Actually, I walked out here to see, have a look around before I brought the tiller out. What goes into the woods right over there? A little small but a half-grown porcupine. So I know they're going to be a constant battle over here. No matter what I grow, what I put in, a lot of stuff is going to have to be screened in. I may eventually live here. Like, the way things are starting to go and all that, it's it's a little bit silly out there, getting worse nowadays. And I could homestead here and live here. I don't know that I'm quite ready yet, but the possibilities here. I've got enough land that I can do it. As you guys know, I'd have to, I'd have a greenhouse or two, and I'd probably get a couple old portable garages, and I'd put greenhouses on them and wrap the lower part in chicken wire so you can, put plastic around it in the spring to warm it up in there. When it's colder out, you could start growing earlier. And then if you had wire or something around it, you could lift some of the lower plastic when it gets warmer in the summer, and that way it's not going to bake it in there in the daytime. Or if I'm living here all the time, I could open the ends up or whatever, right? A lot of people do that. Old portable garage frame, and put some vapor barrier on it and make an actual greenhouse. And I could, a couple of them right there in the hill. Gets full sun out here all day. Don't know. But again, I've considered it. Come and live here full time. I can get out in and out of here. I can leave my even if the road gets terrible, I can use my side-by-side. Park my truck out the road. I'd have to make an agreement or something with one of the neighbors out there probably, and pay them a little bit each month or whatever. It's kind of a rental fee, and let them park my truck and car out there, because I can't get my Honda Civic in here, obviously. And my big motorcycle would be kind of difficult too. My big cruiser, it wouldn't like coming in here. So yeah, I'd have issues to live here. I would have to turn into minimalist, and I'll tell you, that's not my thing, because I have a lot of stuff. I have way too much stuff, and that's one of the biggest problems. If I was gonna, come here and stay here, oh boy, would I have to have some crazy yard sales. But the thought of it would be beautiful. And to get some goats and chickens, and I could raise a pig or two. I couldn't butcher them, but I could probably take them to somebody else, or have somebody come do it or whatever, right? But I mean, even an area in here, you could have have some put some different types of pens or whatever around here. You could have a goat pen of some sort in there, and could have a chicken coop in here. It would have to be heavy duty wire in the coop to keep the the animals. There's bobcats and everything else around here. They'd have a good munch on them if I wasn't really careful the way I screen them in. I'd have to be extra heavy duty screen, but the possibility's there, and I've got enough land here I could do all that. So you never know, maybe one of these days soon again. And this cheap living is a nice thing about it. Everything else just gets more expensive, and I don't need a whole lot to stay here other than propane and then food, obviously. Food and propane is the two things. And there's a muskrat right on the other side of the brook, and you guys can't see him. I'm sure you can't. Going right down the brook, a little black muskrat. I'm gonna run down here so we can get a picture of him. You guys can actually see him in the video at all. See him going right by that old bathtub? Look at him. That's a muskrat right there. Yeah, there he goes up into the bush. You see them here a lot. Martins, minks, muskrats. You see them all. Kind of neat. And again, it's so nice out today right now. This is just unheard of. The brook is down quite low again, as you guys can see. Not a lot of water in it right now. It's not running real fast. She's just creeping along. Wait till tomorrow morning. I'll report back and show you guys what's going on tomorrow morning with the brooks. Let's go over here. We'll have a little look on the side here too and see. And then we're going to show you tomorrow morning. Because we get the rain tonight that they're calling for, this brook is going to run hard tomorrow. Go over here and show you. Let's have a little look-see. Here we go. There. You can just barely hear it. Just running a wee bit. This will be a torrent tomorrow. I'll probably be able to whitewater raft down here, I bet. So, here you go. So I guess for now, kind of done my little rant here, cruising around. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm going to finish my coffee. Yeah, just finishing up my coffee in here. Starting to cloud over a bit. It's not raining out yet, but you can tell it's not too far away from the look of it. You can see a bit of the storm moving in, and the temperature's starting to drop a bit, down to 14 outside. Sitting there contemplating again something else in this corner if I was ever going to live here full time, which again is kind of getting more in my get more of my topics here soon in my videos too, because you never know. The option is there that I could. I have a home also. I could even rent my house. Rent my house, come live here. Let somebody have my house to stay in. I could bring a bit of equipment out of here, in and out of here, and actually do a few repairs here if I had to. I could make a trip to town once a week, pick up my stuff, bring it here, scale down a bit again, but could live a pretty simple lifestyle here. I wouldn't have to work a whole lot, wouldn't have to make a lot of money. But again, have you guys ever heard of, last week's video was rocket stoves. Anybody ever heard of what they call a rocket stove mass heater? They are the coolest thing you'll ever see. And they're actually a third world country technology. And what I would do here, that would come out, and this whole corner would get used up. And you have what they call a rocket stove. You build and you make them out of fire brick, and they're normally a downdraft unit. So about in the middle of that corner, you would have your stove, and what they do, you don't have stovepipe going up. Your pipe comes off of your firebox and goes sideways. And you run a bunch of pipe all around back and forth on one side, run a bunch of pipe all around back and forth on this side, and what you do with all that pipe, you bury all that in rocks and sand both, and they call a cob bench is what you're building. And what you do, you're piping that. I think you put a few rocks out first and a bed of sand. You lay your pipe all out through it, and again, you pipe it over and over and over. And every little tiny bit of heat coming out of your exhaust, like right now, it doesn't matter how efficient your stove is, you still lose a heck of a lot of heat up through the chimney. When you have a rocket stove mass heater, they're almost 100% efficient, I believe, as far as getting heat off them. But again, you run all that pipe over there, all that pipe over here. You can have a double bench or single. I'd have a double because of the 2 windows. And then you build it up with rock and sand, and then you build cob, which is mud and straw. You mix that together, pack it, and people paint them. And again, rocket stove mass heaters, they're very intriguing. I was checking a bunch of them out, and there's YouTube videos with them. And I think it would be so cool to have one right in this corner. And again, you pack it all full, and they're heavy. And that's the thing, they weigh a pile of weight because it's all rock, sand, mud, everything else. But very lucky, almost exactly underneath where that wood stove is right now, there's a crib. This thing is sitting right on concrete blocks, which is sitting on a 2x2 patio slab. If anybody saw my video when I built this place, and they're the heavy duty, they're the like 3-inch or 2.5-inch thick patio slab. They're not real thin ones. They're never going to crack. And there's a bed of crushed rock under that, so it's never going to get water or ice build up under that. So enough said there. There's all kinds of support right here for the weight, because one of them could probably weigh 1,000 pounds or more, 600-800 pounds of rock, sand, and mud that you have to pack in. But then you have your firebox in the corner that you light, and the whole advantage of a rocket stove mass heater is they claim when you get them going, it takes a day, day and a half to get it warm, to get any heat output, but you'll burn barely a milk crate full of wood a day. You split it up fairly small pieces. You don't use big chunks at all. And again, it takes them a day, day and a half to warm up, but they can be out, and there's all kinds of videos in YouTube that show right in the firebox. That sucker's been out for days, and they'll shoot a thermal gun on the cob bench, have like blankets or pelts or whatever on it. It'll be 130, 140 degrees, still that kind of heat. So you're never going to keep your cats off them, and just what a beautiful way to radiate heat. And the whole idea is, if you're living here, you know, it's not getting cold, warm. In the fall, you light that sucker up, and you're going to let that pretty much idle all winter. And some days, you're going to add a little bit more, light it up again to keep the heat going in it. But again, the mass of the whole unit stays warm for so long, you can get heat off them for days. And it's a very intriguing thing to have. On the negative side of that, if you're not living here, it's useless because it takes it a day to warm up. So if I come here and it's cold in the winter, well, it's no good to me that day, is it? So if I get it going, then the next day, and then it's hot for 2 or 3 days in here after I go home again. So that's kind of, you know, counterproductive. But if I was going to live here, way less wood, and it would be the way to go. And there's some really good dedicated channels on them. There's actually a couple, I forget their name now. Saw their channel a couple years ago on YouTube here, and they even put on a course or a class of some sort and sell instructional stuff and all that on how to build these bad boys. So there's enough information out there now, what to do, what not to do. But I'm really intrigued, again, by a rocket stove mass heater. Check them out. Yeah, the whole possibility is there. You never know, right? Again, been thinking about it a lot more just this year and just recently, this fall even. The whole idea of maybe, again, being here full time. It would be different for sure. It would be definitely very different. I could easily put a couple additions on this building if I had to have more room, you know, on this side of that window. I've already thought about it. I could punch that wall out 8 or 10 feet easy, put a shed style roof going that way so it would slope away. Could do the same thing over on this side. I could make that bedroom, probably wouldn't be necessary, but I could make it bigger, but I could at least have like have a bigger area over there. The only problem when I built this place, I really don't have much storage. There's no closets in here anywhere, but I do have that 10 by 20 loft up there, which I don't use enough. I've got a bunch of totes up there and junk not junk everywhere, but it's, you know, it could be organized a little better, and I do have a lot of room up there. So I've technically got 600 square feet here. So it's not that bad. This is 400 down here, 200 up there. Again, you never know. It would be different also. I find a little bit hard, and it probably is, building my channel as much as off-grid living, obviously, because I don't live here. So, and that's kind of the genre or whatever, the focus of the channel is do all the off-grid stuff, but I don't live here. So it's a little different, I guess, where it's a weekender for me. Even though I guess I have some of the same people that do watch, this as what would watch other channels where people are totally, off-grid and totally self-reliant. But that's what maybe I would like to move towards here someday, and maybe sooner than later, right? And again, when I was a kid, we had chickens. I'd have chickens for sure because they're the most useful creature you could ever have. But I'd have to have some heavy-duty coops. They'd have to be built out of that heavy wire like I've got my around my bird cages. Because if not, the minute I leave, there's going to be a bobcat or something big like that come in and rip normal chicken wire wide open. It's going to be the end of my hens. So I'd have to build it rugged. But I know I could do it. I'm sure I could. And there's a will, there's a way. You can keep them out. Gardening. Could put in a way bigger garden. Build a root cellar of some sort here. Even thought about it'd be neat to have something under the floor here. If you could lift up a hatch in the kitchen on the floor, would be kind of neat, eh? And get down a set of stairs, box it all in. Go down a set of stairs and open a little hatch, whatever. Could try to get under here and dig a little bit, but you'd have to be doing it by hand, and that would be not the easiest. But it's not impossible either, I guess. A guy could. Get under the pick and shovel. Wouldn't be the first thing I've worked hard at, but some kind of root cellar or something to, to help preserve vegetables and keep stuff cooler off season and all that too, right? Right now I'm relying on propane, so I only have a propane fridge here with a tiny little freezer box. So things like that, like meat, if I ever kept, if I have an animal, had a pig butchered or whatever, I don't know how I'd keep my meat. That's what I'd have to check into. I guess you can bottle it, you can salt it, different things, but that's something I'd have to check into because, I don't have freezing facilities here at all, really, even though I only have a smaller Brigana, a smaller propane fridge. But anything could be upgraded. Again, if I was here full time, and you can get 12-volt freezers, I know also. They're not cheap, but you can buy them. And if I upgraded my battery bank a bit, went with a few more batteries, a few more solar panels and stuff, maybe I could run stuff like that and live here full time. So it's all something to consider, and considering it, pretty heavy here lately, just the way things are. So, the way things are going out there. There's peace and serenity being here, I'll tell you. There's nothing like it. And it's wonderful to have you guys here. If anybody wants to like and subscribe and share these videos, and I do hope to build this channel more and more, and it would be nice too if someday I could ever make enough of an income off of this whole thing, like a lot of people do, that it would help subsidize some of my bills also of living here. Right now it's it's play money, and a lot of months it actually costs me a bit of money because I have to pay for rights for that music and all that, so that's not free. So, and there's a little bit of an expense in it, but it's well worth it. So it's great again to have you guys here. So I'm going to finish my rant for now, my rambling. And it's going to be time to get supper going fairly soon, but I've got a steak marinating, actually. And not even sure what I'm going to have on the side with it yet. Maybe just some potatoes and a couple of veggies or something. But I'll talk to you guys a bit later, maybe once I get my supper going here. So hope you guys are having a good meal tonight, wherever you're at. Or if you're watching this at night, I guess. You could be watching this first thing in the morning. Basically the calm before the storm, guys. It was windy earlier. The last couple days have been crazy windy. We've had this silly weather pattern. I guess most of the states and everybody has had this, that it's been unseasonably warm for the longest time. And then what was it? Tuesday, Wednesday this week, it was only like 5 degrees and windy. Actually saw a couple snowflakes on Tuesday, which is kind of depressing. Which they're coming, they're bound to come. They're not going to be too far away. And you can feel the air is uneasy right now. You can tell it's a post-tropical storm, I guess, is what we get coming tonight, Nicole, with a pile of rain. So she's going to be a wet night, but I'm good down in here, nice and secure, and not really worried about it. Birds are feeding. Some blue jays sitting over there now. They can't get in this feeder anymore, so they're going to help themselves to that one over there. Don't make me put a screen in that. And I could. But I won't be that mean. I'll let them eat a little bit here somewhere too. Blue Jays have rights also. Yeah. Almost supper time. Just got a top sirloin steak in there, which aren't that good. Made up a silly steak marinade. Hopefully it's going to be okay. I didn't have a whole lot of stuff, so threw it together, and it shouldn't poison me anyway. Well, good morning once again, everybody. It's Saturday morning. It's 8 o'clock. 17 degrees outside here. Tomorrow, I think the high is going to be like 6 or 7, and then all next week it's going to be like 4. So the party's over. Rained really, really hard last night. The brook is way up, as you guys can see. I don't know if you can actually, let me just pan this out a bit. Wobble around here. Yeah, the brook is way up right now over what it was yesterday. All kinds of water come down here last night, so I'll bring you back here. Yeah, we got all kinds of rain here last night, so, and it's still raining pretty hard. I think it's supposed to stop within 3 hours or so. The bulk of it will be over anyway. There's been some gusts of wind too, but it hasn't really been that bad considering it's supposed to be a post-tropical storm. We just got the more water from it than anything. Birds are eating full force here this morning, having breakfast. Kind of neat to see them out. There's a squirrel over there too in the feeder. But I don't think I'm going to make this video much longer anyway. I might make another one here today, so this is long enough. I didn't really get much done, just kind of walking around talking to you guys about possibly some future projects, and hey, that's what it's all about, right? So again, it's been wonderful to have everyone here. I love all the comments from everybody, right even down to Kez in Australia. So it's so cool to have people basically all over this planet that kind of like to come hang out here in the woods with me. So, and you're much appreciated, much welcome, and I hope you come back. So I will talk to you guys very soon, and you know, if nothing else, just live simply, remain grateful, and, you know, be kind to somebody today. Thank you.